Welcome back, Sundowners, and this is episode 2 of my fairly new podcast. You're gonna have to bear with me a little bit on the audio because, I mean, I'm outside and I got this little tiny mic. So we'll see how it goes. I know that my last one wasn't the best, but you know what? Progress is everything. Today we're going to have a makeshift mimosa. So I always put edible glitter in all of my drinks because it just adds a little pizzazz. And I noticed that if you put it in first, then it doesn't get like all clumpy. So we'll put it in there. And if you don't want this stuff everywhere, that's too bad because it gets everywhere. And I said before that I started working on like my health and the things that just like upping the quality of the things that I was putting inside my body because I want to live semi healthy. So, um, turkey tail mushrooms like have been proven to cure cancer. So I got this turkey tail, and most of the time when I buy stuff, I usually look for the alcohol free and the stuff that has basically nothing but what I am looking for in it. So this basically just has vegetable glycerin and organic turkey tail. So I would like to get the powder stuff. I have powdered ashwagandha and I put that in a lot of different things. You can make capsules. So I'm just gonna put a little squirt in here on top of my edible glitter. I like to up the quality of my life by putting some good stuff in there with a little bit of bad. But I also have this Asian ginseng, and it's basically just good ashwagandha. I got this stuff when I went back to California for Christmas, and I have really bad anxiety. Like I struggle with anxiety a lot, and I haven't ever found anything that actually worked until I started taking ashwagandha. But you have to take it like ritually. Like it's not something that you take once and then you just like or you take it when you only have it. I take it every single day and it's actually really helped my anxiety levels. Like obviously if I'm in like a high stress or high anxiety situation, it's not going to help it. But on my day to day when I have just random anxiety for no reason, it has helped a lot. So I do try and take that every day. Mostly take it at night. If you have like really bad anxiety, 5-HTP works for anxiety. It also helps like enhance like psychedelic effects when you trip balls. But I only take the 5-HTP at night if I ever buy it. It's kind of expensive, so I never actually buy it. But it's makes you real sleepy. So and then this is just it's like bee pollen, but they put it's mixed with alcohol, and I don't really like. I put a little couple drops because it helps with allergies and stuff like that. But I want to find some tinctures that are not alcohol based, and I feel like that's kind of hard. But I got that at a flea market the other day. So, and then I just got some orange juice. They have non-alcoholic champagne, and that is actually really good. Like I like to have that when I feel like celebrating. I'm the type of person that like I feel like I need a reason to celebrate now. Like I don't feel like I can just have a mimosa for no reason. Like if I worked really hard all week on like a project or like something on the boat or I actually finished something, then maybe I'll celebrate with like some kind of cheat food or cheat meal or something that I feel is like a reward for myself. And maybe that's not like the healthiest because like sometimes I'll push off a lot of things that like I want because I don't feel like I deserve it at the moment because I haven't done enough. And that's like not healthy, but it's also balances out like how much I'm rewarding myself in a way like I won't eat out as much because I haven't done X, Y, and Z. And that was something that like when I started losing weight, like I was on a really strict diet and I dieted for probably 2 years and I don't promote diet culture. It was just something that I did for myself because I needed to lose the weight, but I rewarded myself throughout that time, but I would like have markers and goals, and after I did this or after I hit this PR or like, and I think that it's important to set goals and restrictions for yourself. Like I'm very disciplined. I did martial arts for like 6 7 years as a kid, and that made me really disciplined in a way that I don't think that I would ever actually do those things before I started martial arts, which is, I'm really grateful that I have that discipline, I guess. But cheers. Thanks for being here. Can you see the glitter in it if you guys are watching? Let's try it. Just tastes like orange juice. These little things don't ever taste like anything. Like sometimes I'll take that kava that I had in my last video and I'll just put it in my mouth without like having without making a drink, and then it'll taste like something. But mixed in your drinks you don't even notice it. So if you do want to like elevate just a regular drink so that you feel more or less happy or just content, like these things are extra little additives that I like to throw in there. But like I said, turkey tail, if you are serious about like your health, I would start looking into like the powdered form of things that are just the powder, nothing extra added onto it. Because if you look at a lot of these things, they do have way more additives than they should. Everything should just be like water and that. But I think this week I wanted to talk about, I don't want to make this podcast or this series anything political. I get a lot of hate on the internet because they're like, well, is that like your only personality? And I think that it is for a lot of people. Like they advocate so hard that they don't have anything else to talk about. But I just advocate because I feel like it's important and I feel like it's necessary for somebody average like me to talk about things that are perceived as abnormal in society, because there are extremists and the extremists are the people that get the attention, and then there's just a bad rep and a bad name for the whole community because you're looking at these people that are so far left field of what it actually is. But it is transgender day of visibility, I think, or transgender week of visibility. I don't know. I don't even know when Easter is. Like I don't know the dates and time frames, but I figured I'd talk a little bit about what I view and what I've seen in the last couple days. I'm not gonna talk about anything crazy, but the last couple days I see things pop up and I'll look at it. And one thing that I was always super irritated about when I first started my transition was seeing celebrities start their transition and kind of glorify the whole transition, like because it was so easy for them to find the doctors and get the facial feminization or the surgeries that they wanted right off the bat or get it done by the best surgeons in town. And it's just like that's not reality for the majority of the community. And to see somebody glorify it and present it in a way that is like it's so easy and it's so like trendy, because it's not trendy at all. It's very much like life-saving and necessary for a lot of people. And it was frustrating to see all of these other people like doing it so easy when like the majority of the population, the majority of the people that are watching these people have such a hard time like even getting access to just regular hormone replacement therapy. So that was one thing that was always like, ugh, so bothersome to me. I think that like as somebody that talks about these things, a lot of people ask me my opinion on what I think about the community or what I think about like pronouns or just anything that has to do with the community. And I'm not like a LGBTQ dictionary. I am learning things as they come, just like everybody else. And I think that it's hard. It would be really hard to be like a political figure to make the right decision on what is right and wrong and necessary for the community to blend into society. Like I would not want to be the person that makes decisions on if children can play sports or if they can start taking hormone replacement therapy at 16 without parents' permission, or even just bathroom situations. Like, I feel like that is just such a hard topic, and it's so hard when you're looking at the community that is under the age of 18. Like, do I don't know what I would do if my child was transgender because I just am not in that position, so I can't really speak on how I would handle that. But I'm sure it is so hard. It's even harder to watch people that don't really understand us make decisions for our community. I saw the other day that Caitlyn Jenner was in Malibu or somewhere speaking on the fact that trans girls, trans kids should not be able to participate in sports because it's just not fair to women, and we need to protect cisgender women in the sports industry and just in all aspects. And I see a lot of people commenting that like she isn't protecting the community and she's speaking on privilege and she is uh, I didn't even realize that she was actually running for governor of California. And I think that like we are not in a very we're progressive, but we're not in a widely progressive state to have somebody that is transgender in a political stance like that on top of like them already being famous. Like I think that trans people should be in power. And I mean I, I think transgender people should be in a position to speak on our behalf, and regardless of your gender identity, you should be able to run for any type of political position. Like I it shouldn't matter. But the fact that she already has like such a wide variety of fame on top of transitioning, like she just doesn't represent the community in a way that is favoring the majority. So like to have her be the face of it and also trying to like run for governor with her fame already, it just doesn't seem like we are in a progressive state for the state to actually vote for her, if that makes sense. Like, and I don't vote. I do not vote, and I really don't care to vote because, like, it's all rigged. It is all rigged. But that's something that I feel like it would just be so hard. Like, and I don't want that position. I do not want that position. I do not want that authority. I do want the authority to, make everybody eat tacos on Tuesdays and have non-alcoholic mimosas because I feel like orange juice is expensive too. Like, what the heck? And the fact that people like go and have brunch and get full mimosa bars unlimited, like that was something that I wanted so bad as like I was gonna say a little kid, and that sounds so terrible, but like as a teenager, that was something that I really looked forward to is like brunch with my homies and endless mimosas. And I kind of ruined that for myself because I just gained this addiction before I could even enjoy the things that you're supposed to enjoy when you're legally able to enjoy them. Cheers to supplementing. I feel like it's okay to have expectations and then alter them because they're just not what it was chalked up to be. I don't know. And like I don't want to have my whole platform be transgender based because it's just not something that I'm passionate about. Like I'm passionate about it and I love advocating for the community, but like I would love to sit here and talk about like where I want to sail to and how the different phases of the moon make me angry. But people need to hear a real side of the community instead of what the media wants to pump out there to make the community look like trash. Because we're not, and the radicalists don't represent us. So the more that like the normal people, the the majority of the population speaks and represents the community, like the better, because it would be hard to watch like all of these celebrities that you look up to start transitioning and doing what you want to do and making it look so easy, and then you start the process and it's just not. Like the reality is it's really hard and there isn't a lot of support. Something that I always like have thought about, and I've thought about it more recently, not in like I'm actually gonna do it, because here's the thing. I would love to like start a business that's like planted somewhere, and unless I had somebody that was willing to run my ideas, because I'm not here. I'm not going to be here. I'm going to be out on the water and I'm not going to come to land unless I need like chicken and rice. You know what I mean? But something that I think would be really cool is like having a halfway house for transgender people to come and like obviously like do workshops to help them get the surgeries and the like start their hormone treatment, and maybe just like make plans on like financially how they're going to afford all of these different stages and where to look and how to get there, because there isn't that, like, some people just need that step by step, like this is how you do it. And I think it would be really cool to like start that for the community, but also like have like a halfway house where people can come and stay, because a lot of people don't have a place to live after they come out because they lose their family, they lose their friends, they lose their jobs, and it would be so cool to have like a home or a tribe where you just like you can have a bed and a roof over your head and like-minded people that are the same as you, and then you're also there like learning practical skills like how to garden and how to build shit and how to like even people like trying to get on like financial aid or like food stamps, like how do you start those processes, because a lot of people don't know how, and then they just suffer because it's like I don't know where to look and I don't know who to ask and I don't have anybody to ask. So that was something that I thought would be really cool, is just like having a, it sounds like a cult, but but it would just be like I guess everything is considered a cult. And one time like uh when I lived in California, there was a bunch of weed farms everywhere, and my grandpa saw this ad on like Craigslist or something, and they were giving away these smart pots, and smart pots are basically like mesh bags that you fill up with dirt, and then you put plants in there, and then they grow, and it holds like the nutrients, and it like kind of it's a um it's mesh, so it's not gonna mildew unless you like really fucking destroy them. But they're really good and they're really expensive. But he saw this ad on Craigslist and he was like, "Oh, cool! They have a bunch. They were like getting rid of a bunch of these smart pots because a weed farm had gotten like raided or something, and the people that had bought in this land after the crop was raided were like these super hippie, like really culty, Like it was definitely a cult community. Like I'm not judging. I'm not judging. But he comes home and I was like weed eating I was doing something and he comes home and he's like, "Hey, can you come help me unload these smart pots?" And I was like, "Yeah." And he's like, "I got to take you. I got to take you to this place that I just picked these up at. They are just so cool. They have this huge garden and they're really trying to just implement all of these things into this community." And I was like, "Grandpa, that sounds like a cult and I'm not going there with you. I got things to do, and if if you go missing for a couple days, at least I know where you are because uh I don't know." But like I think that would be really cool. But it's also something like for me and my sake, like I want to live off grid. Like I that's my main goal. And right now, like I can't. I don't have enough solar. And my water tank needs to be repaired because it leaks right now. But I'm gonna fix that. And honestly, like when I was looking for a boat, I got so caught up in the layout of this boat that I really didn't care about anything else because I needed something that was big enough for me to live on, but also to where I wasn't like suffering because like you live on a boat and if you've actually looked at sailboats or like been on a sailboat, you'll realize that like it's so small and it's so like condensed and the way that they make these boats are for traveling. Like they're not for living, living and sitting. They're for traveling and they're for getting to and from. But when I bought this thing, I got in the layout and I was like, wow, it's like really spacious for it's a 33-foot sailboat, so not very big, but pretty big. And but I overlooked the fact that like the engine didn't run properly. I knew what it needed and how to fix it, and now I realize that he basically sold me the engine with a blown head gasket. So maybe I'll fix that this year and it will be sellable. I would never want to sell this thing and give it to somebody the way that I got it. But if you are ever in the market for like a boat, always make sure that like the engine is in working condition, your rigging is in working condition, and you have like cover in the cockpit because you do not want to buy a sailboat and not have any shade. And right now I have no shade. And I that's why I say I'm a freaking lobster because I come out here and I do shit on the boat and then I'm just like burning red. But all of those things can be added. So those are the main things that I would look for in my next boat is like cockpit cover, engine, and rigging, which is and like the bottom of the boat obviously. Like there's a lot of maintenance when it comes to living on a boat and I think that like my divine timing was I needed to buy a boat that wasn't perfect, that wasn't everything that I wanted it to be so that I can learn how to make it exactly what I wanted it to be, which I have. You know, I learned a lot and like my dad um is a contractor like by trade, but I never really learned anything from him that I could like use in my day-to-day life. I've learned and done a lot of things like all by myself and I'm like that's that I think that like I don't talk about things that I'm proud of because I'm not like I said I like rewarding myself is like so hard for me. But one thing that I think that I've actually done is like I've taught myself a lot. I've taught myself how to navigate through a lot of things that like a lot of people struggle to navigate through. But I think that it would be cool and beneficial for like the community to open up something that is like yeah, there are plans and there are things that are more support for the community. Like they do have things like that. And that my idea is not original, but I think that it would be really cool to have like an interactive community of like you come and garden and you guys do shit and but for me I don't know. maybe maybe but we'll see. But something else that I've been thinking about, and I can't do it because I just can't afford it, but I would want to get Lady another dog, another brother or sister or something. I feel like she's an only child, and that's okay. And I think that she likes being the only child because when she's around other dogs, like she likes it for a second, but after like a minute, she's just like she's over it. Like even Bugsy's her little boyfriend over there. Every town that we move to, she finds at least one boyfriend, and Bugsy's her current boo thing. But she had another guy named Robbie before we moved on the boat, and that was her hot stuff. He would always like get out of the gate and come and visit her, but she like she has a brother and sister back in California, and every time we would hang out with them, she'd be like happy and fun for like the first hour, and then after the first hour, she didn't want no part of it. She wanted to go home. She was tired and wanted them to leave her the fuck alone. So like I've been debating on getting her another little sibling or something, but like realistically, like I pay so much money to have her. Like I take her everywhere because I just like I'm not gonna get an animal that I cannot. Like my dog has been to like 32 different states and has pooped in every single one, and I just like I never want to do anything where I can't take her with me, and I don't think that I could financially afford to like fly two dogs to California every year because like I pay like $125 for her one way. So I pay like I think I bought my ticket to California last year and I bought it like 6 7 months early and it was only like probably 350 and then I paid two 250 for her to go there and back. So she's basically her own ticket. And I wish that I could just like buy an extra seat so that I could take up the whole lane and stick her in a seat because she has to sit underneath. It just doesn't seem it doesn't seem freaking pet friendly to me, honestly. And there's so many people that like call their dogs service dogs, and you could tell there was a wiener dog on my way home from California from Christmas, and you could tell it wasn't a service dog. And it was like barking and whining and crying and like sniffing everybody, and it was just like it's, it's hard. It's hard to travel with a dog. But Lady's actually really good. Like I've taken her everywhere since she was mine, and I got her when she was like 7 weeks old. So she has separation anxiety, but it's partially my fault. I just don't think that like your dog should be left alone. They're your babies. But I do think that maybe she's a little lonely. But I also don't think that. You know what I mean? It's hard to tell. I wish you could just tell me what do you need, child? What do you need? Yeah, I don't want to turn this podcast into anything that's political because it's just not my cup of tea. Like I don't really give a fuck because regardless of what they decide to do, I'm gonna do whatever I want to do. Regardless of if they throw me in jail for marrying who I want or for taking testosterone, like give me a fucking break. There's nothing that I'm doing that is actually hurting you. So that's what I'm talking about. Is like if there was somebody that like would actually face consequences of like going to jail because they are doing something for their transition, speaking on the community and instead of like Caitlyn Jenner, who would not face the same consequences as us if we stood and spoke for our rights. Like we as a community need to put people that are likable and lovable in the face of society so that our existence is normalized in a way that isn't so flamboyant that it's in their face to the point where they don't want to accept us at all. And I think that that is like a big majority. Like that's what I hear from all of these people that are like transphobic but want to act like they're not. Is that like Well, it's just as long as you don't make it your whole personality or don't shove it down our throats. But like that's not what the real majority of the community is doing. So we need to start thinking about ways to sell the community if you want to have people in power and in politics speaking and talking for us. That's something I will cheers to. And you know what? I bought a aloe plant like last year. I bought an aloe plant last year because I was out here making this cover. It's a hard top. I made it out of fiberglass, and I was fucking beat red. Like, I think I made this, and I sanded and painted that stupid kayak. I did that like 3 times, but I did it in the heat of the summer, which is like July. July and August are so miserable here, and with no cover, like I just burned, like I said. But I bought an aloe plant, and it's been sitting there, and I haven't watered it. I don't know how it's still kicking, and I don't know how it's like growing leaves right now, but it's growing little babies, and I should water it. I should take care of it. But it's so funny to me that like all of these old sailors and old, because a lot of these people that live next to me are pretty old men, like decrepit a little bit. I love them. I love them, but like they're so funny because they'll just buy like they'll just keep acquiring boats. Like this guy next to me has two. He has three little dinghy boats, and now he's in New York with like four other different projects. And it's like, dude, you're getting up there. It's time to wrap them up and sell them because who's gonna take care of this stuff? Like I gotta go over to his other boat right now when I'm done with this and pump out all of the water because his dinghy is sinking, like sinking, and nobody's there to fix it. Nobody's there to save it. Nobody's paying me to save it. Should start charging these people 25 a dinghy save. I saved a guy out of a kayak the other day. He was sinking, so I had to pull him out of the water and help him pull his freaking kayak out of the water. That'll be $25. Thank you. But yeah, there's like three different dinghies that I gotta pump water out of because these people like, and I don't have a, I don't know. I love you guys. Thank you for being here. Thank you for hanging out with me. If there are certain topics or things that you want me to discuss or you don't want me to talk about, please leave it in the comments and just let me know what you guys are thinking, how you're feeling, and if this is something that you like. Because if it's not, then go away. And if it is, come back for more. I love you guys. And you know what? I will work on the audio. Like I have a mic coming. I want to get the whole setup. We'll watch it evolve from day one to when I'm sitting on my catamaran with a nice, cute little mic and a covered cockpit, so that rain or shine, we're out there, we're out here talking, having a drink, and let me know if there's any other supplements that you guys think that I should buy or that I should try because these things are, I just want to kind of enhance my life in a way that is beneficial instead of enhancing it in a way that makes me feel like shit. And these things over time will do that. So, I love you guys and I hope that you have a beautiful day and I will talk to you later. Bye.